to another interesting video, that is DevOps interview questions and answers. Whether you're a beginner looking to land your first DevOps role or an experienced professional preparing for a big interview, this video is here to help you get ready with the insights. In this video, we'll cover a range of questions from fundamental concepts to advanced topics, so you can feel confident and prepared for any interview scenario. We'll discuss why certain questions are asked, the skills they assess, and also how to structure your responses to make a strong impression. Let's jump in and start cracking those DevOps interview questions so you can get one step closer to landing that dream job. Before we begin, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do not forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated on the latest tech content from Edureka's YouTube channel. And also check out Edureka's DevOps Engineer Master's Program course, the link to which is given in the description box below. With that, let's see the agenda for today's video. First we have is the basic level of interview questions. Then, moving on to the intermediate level. Last we have is the advanced level. Have you all ever imagined why DevOps is so important? DevOps enables faster, more reliable software delivery by improving collaboration between development and operations team. It reduces release cycles, minimizes risks, and also enhances product quality through automation, continuous integration, and proactive monitoring. By adopting DevOps, organizations can respond quickly to market demands, ensure stability, and also innovate at scale. With that said, let's see the first question in the basic level. What is DevOps? DevOps is a collaborative approach that integrates software development and IT operations to accelerate the delivery of high-quality software. It also emphasizes automation, continuous integration, and continuous delivery, aiming to improve communication, streamline workflows, and also enable faster, more reliable releases. By fostering a culture of collaboration and leveraging tools for monitoring, infrastructure as code, and automation, DevOps allows teams to innovate rapidly while maintaining stability and scalability. Let's move to the second question. What are the principles of DevOps? The principles behind DevOps are: first is continuous deployment. Then comes infrastructure as a code. Next, automation. Moving on to monitoring. Last is the security. Let's see the third question now. Explain some popular tools of DevOps. Here are some popular tools of DevOps such as: first we have is Jenkins. Jenkins is a DevOps tool for monitoring the execution of repeated tasks. Jenkins is a software that allows continuous integration, and it will be installed on a server where the central build will take place. Then we have is Ansible. Ansible is a leading DevOps tool. Ansible is an open source IT engine that automates application deployment, cloud provisioning, intra-service orchestration, and other IT tools. Then we also have Nagios. Nagios is one of the more useful tools for DevOps. It can determine the errors and rectify them with the help of network, infrastructure, server, and log monitoring systems. The next tool is Docker. Docker is a high-end DevOps tool that allows building, ship, and also run distributed applications on multiple systems. The last tool we have is Git. A Git is an open-source distributed version control system that is freely available for everyone. It is designed to handle minor to major projects with speed and efficiency. Moving on to the fourth question. What are the prerequisites for DevOps implementation? Following are some of the useful prerequisites for DevOps implementation. Those are: proper communication between the team members, at least one version controlled software, automated testing, last is the automated deployment. Now let's see the fifth question. What are the core operations of DevOps with application development and infrastructure? First, let's see application development. Under that, we have code building, code coverage, unit testing, packaging, last is the deployment. Same as under infrastructure, we have provisioning, configuration, orchestration, last is the deployment. Let's see the sixth question now. What are the key components of DevOps? The most important key components of DevOps are continuous integration, continuous testing, continuous delivery, last is the continuous monitoring. With that, let's also see the seventh question now. What are the technical and business benefits of DevOps work culture? First, let's see the technical benefits. Less complex problems to fix. Continuous software delivery. Last is a faster bugs resolution. Similarly, under business benefits, we have more stable operating environments, more time available to add products value, faster delivery of feature or customer satisfaction. Let's move to the 8th question. Which scripting tools are used in DevOps? We have two scripting tools that are mainly used in DevOps. First is the Python, which is used for automation, configuration management, and scripting. Then comes Ruby, which is used for automation tasks and also as a basis of tools like Chef. Moving on to the 9th question, what is the role of AWS in DevOps? AWS is a cloud-based service provided by Amazon that ensures scalability through unlimited computing power and storage. It empowers IT enterprises to develop and deliver experienced products and deploy applications on the cloud. Now let's see the last question in the basic level. That is the 10th question. Explain continuous testing. Continuous testing is a technique of running automated tests as a part of a delivery pipeline to quickly get feedback on the business risks associated with the software release candidate. It improves and expands test automation to keep up with the increasing complexity and speed of modern application development and delivery. With that, let's start with the intermediate level questions. So moving on to the 11th question in the intermediate level. What is continuous integration and continuous deployment and why are they important in DevOps? So the answer is, continuous integration is a practice of automating the integration of code changes from multiple contributors into a shared repository. Each change triggers an automated build and testing process, ensuring that code works as expected before it is merged. Now let's see continuous deployment, which extends the continuous integration by automating the deployment of code to production, enabling frequent, reliable releases. CI/CD is important because it accelerates development cycles, reduces integration issues, and improves software quality by catching errors early, leading to faster delivery and a smoother workflow. Moving on to the 12th question. Explain the concept of infrastructure as a code. How does it benefit DevOps? Infrastructure as a code is a method of managing and provisioning computing infrastructure through machine-readable configuration files, rather than through physical hardware configuration and interactive configuration tools. Benefits of infrastructure as a code include, first we have is consistency and repeatability, which reduces human errors and also ensures that environments are identical. Next we have is the version control. Configuration files can be versioned, allowing tracking of changes and also easy rollbacks. The last is the speed and efficiency. Infrastructure can be provisioned or scaled up or down quickly. Let's see the 13th question. How does a DevOps pipeline work and what are the main stages in a typical CI/CD pipeline? A DevOps pipeline automates the process of code building, testing, and deployment, ensuring smooth and efficient software delivery. The typical stages include, first is the source, version control management, where code changes are detected. Then comes build, code compilation or build phase to create deployable artifacts. Next is test, automated testing to verify code quality and functionality. Then comes deploy, delivery to staging or production environments. Last is the monitor, ongoing monitoring of application performance and logs. Each stage has automated steps that reduce manual interventions and ensure reliable results. With that, let's see the 14th question as well. What is containerization and how does it differ from virtualization? Containerization involves bundling an application with its dependencies, libraries, and configurations into a container image that can run consistently across any environment. Virtualization involves creating multiple virtual machines, that is VMs, on a single physical machine, each with its own OS and resources. The difference between the containerization and virtualization are, containers share the host OS kernel and are more lightweight and faster to start than VMs. VMs are heavier, require more resources, and include a full OS, making them more isolated but less efficient for rapid deployment. Now let's see the 15th question. How does Kubernetes support DevOps? Kubernetes, a container orchestration tool, automates the deployment, scaling, and also the management of containerized applications, which is essential for modern DevOps practices. The key features that support DevOps include automated scaling and load balancing, that is for efficient resource use. Next is self-healing capabilities, that is to automatically restart or replace failed containers. Then is service discovery and DNS management for container communication. Last is the declarative configurations that align with infrastructure as code principles. Moving on to the 16th question, What is Docker? And how is it different from virtual machines? Docker is a platform for creating, deploying, and managing lightweight portable containers for applications. Unlike virtual machines, which include a complete OS, Docker containers share the host OS kernel, making them more efficient and faster to start up. Containers use fewer resources and are ideal for microservices and distributed applications. With that, let's also see the 17th question now. What is a Docker image and how is it different from a container? A Docker image is a static file with a pre-configured environment, application code, and dependencies needed to run an application. A container is a runtime instance of an image, which runs in an isolated environment on the host. In short, images are blueprints, while containers are the execution of those blueprints. Now let's see the 18th question. What is the purpose of the Docker registry? The Docker registry is a centralized repository that stores Docker images. It serves as a distribution and collaboration platform, allowing users to publish, discover, and retrieve container images. The Docker registry can be either Docker Hub or a private registry. It provides a reliable source for sharing and deploying containerized applications. Now we will see the 19th question as well. How do you check the installed version of Ansible on your system? You can check the installed Ansible version by running the following command, that is Ansible ---- version. So, once the Ansible is installed, we can check the Ansible version by just typing Ansible ---- version command and just give enter. Here you can see that the Ansible code version is 2.16.11. This command provides information about the Ansible version and Python version it's using, and the paths of the configuration files and modules. Now, moving on to the 20th question. Can you explain the purpose of the following Docker commands, and when would you use them? So the first command we have is the Docker run. This command creates and starts a new container from a specified image. For example, here we have Docker run -d-p with the port that is linked and with the file name as well. So that will start a new interactive container using the my app image. Now let's run Docker container from the image. For that, let's type Docker run -d-p 8080. This tells Docker to run the my app container and map the port to 8080 on your local machine to port 80 inside the container. The next command we have is the Docker ps. It lists all the running containers showing the container ID, the image name, the command, when it is created, and what is the status of the image, and also the ports and names as well. Now let me show you the command of Docker ps. For that, let's type Docker ps. So, once you have entered the Docker ps command, you can see the container ID, the image that is formed, the commands, and also when it is created, the status of it, and also the ports. Moving on to Docker stop. It stops the running container. It's used when you want to gracefully stop a container by sending it a SIGTERM signal. Now let me show you how the stop command works. For that, let's type Docker stop with the image that is given here. So let's type it. So let's check by the Docker ps again. Yeah, so here you can see that we have stopped all the running containers. The next we have is the Docker rm. Remove stopped containers. That is, it is used to clean up containers that are no longer needed. For example, it is given like Docker rm with the container ID. Now let me show you how to remove it. For that, let's type Docker rm with the image ID. Okay. Just paste it here, give enter. So this error response is shown because we don't have any running containers left. So as we have stopped all the running containers, none of the containers can be seen by typing it. In case if any of the images is left, you can just try the image ID and you can remove it. Last we have the Docker image. It lists all the image available locally on the Docker host. It's helpful for checking which image are available to use or delete as well. These commands are essential for basic Docker management, allowing users to create, monitor, and clean up containers and images. Now let's see the Docker images. For that, let's type the command as docker images. Click. Here you can see my repository's name is my app and the version is latest. You can also see the image ID that is given here, when it is created and what time, and also the size of my image. So the 21st question is, what benefits does DevOps have in business? DevOps can bring several benefits to a business, such as faster time to market, where DevOps practices can help to streamline the development and deployment process, allowing for faster delivery of new products and features. Then we have increased collaboration. DevOps promotes collaborations between development and operation teams, resulting in better communication, more efficient problem solving, and higher quality software. Then we have improved agility. DevOps allows for more rapid and flexible responses to changing business needs and customer demands. Increased reliability too, where DevOps practices such as continuous testing, monitoring, and automated deployment can help to improve the reliability and stability of the software systems. Then we have greater scalability. DevOps practices can help to make it easier to scale systems to meet growing business needs and user demand. Cost savings. DevOps can help to reduce the costs associated with the development, deployment, and maintenance of software systems by automating many manual processes and reducing downtime. Last is the better security. DevOps practices such as continuous testing and monitoring can help to improve security of the software systems. Now let's see the 22nd question. Is it possible to move or copy Jenkins from one server to another, and how? Yes, one can copy the Jenkins job directory from the old server to the new one. To move a job from one Jenkins installation to another, one can simply copy the required job directory. Another method is to create a clone of an existing job directory with a different name. Another way is to rename an existing job by renaming the directory. However, in this method, one needs to change any other job calling the renamed job. Now let's move on to the 23rd question. What does the docker build command do, and what are some common options that you can use with it? The docker build command is used to create a Docker image from a set of instructions specified in a Docker file. It reads each line in the Docker file and creates a new image layer based on the instructions, resulting in a final image that can be used to run containers. So now let's start Docker and build Docker image from the Docker file. For that, let's type docker build -t with the file name space a dot. So here you can see this command builds a new image of the Docker with the tag my app using the Docker file in the current directory. With that, let's see the 24th question. List the trending Jenkins plugins. This is a common DevOps interview question, but you must list the most trending plugins, as many as possible. So the first one we have is Git plugin. It facilitates Git functions critical for a Jenkins project and provides multiple Git operations like fetching, pulling, branching, checking out, merging, listing, pushing, and tagging repositories. The Git plugin also serves as a DVCD, that is, Distributed Version Control DevOps, to assist distributed nonlinear workflows through data assurance to develop high-quality software. Next we have the Jira plugin. This open source plugin integrates Jenkins with Jira, with both server and cloud versions, allowing DevOps teams to gain more visibility into their development pipelines. Next we have is Kubernetes plugin. This plugin integrates Jenkins with Kubernetes to provide developers with scaling automation when running Jenkins slaves in a Kubernetes environment. This plugin also creates Kubernetes pods dynamically for every agent the Docker image defines. It runs and determines each agent after build completion. Now let's see the Docker plugin as well. This plugin helps developers spawn the Docker containers and automatically run builds on them. The Docker plugin lets DevOps teams use Docker hosts to provision Docker containers as Jenkins agent nodes running single builds. They can determine the nodes without the build processes requiring any Docker awareness. Now let's see about the SonarQube plugin. This plugin seamlessly integrates SonarQube with Jenkins to help DevOps teams detect bugs, duplication, and vulnerabilities and ensure high code quality before creating code automatically through Jenkins. Last we have is the Maven integration plugin. While Jenkins doesn't have inbuilt Maven support, this plugin provides advanced integration of Maven 2 or 3 projects with Jenkins. The Maven integration plugin offers multiple functionalities like incremental builds, binary post-build deployments, automatic configurations of JUnit, find bugs, and other reporting plugins. Now let's see the 25th question. How do you initialize a Git repository? And what is the significance of the .git directory? To initialize a Git repository, use a command that is git init. This command creates a .git directory in the project folder, which contains all the metadata and the history for the repository, enabling version control for the project. Now let's see how this command works. For that, let's first simply check the version of the Git by just typing the command git ---- version. Here you can see the Git version that is given as 2.45.2.Windows.1. Now, let's create a directory. So I will be just giving it as doc. So let's make it cd doc ls. Okay. So now So here I've typed ls-a, where ls command lists all the files and directories in the current directory. And the -a flag is a short for all, includes all the hidden files and directories in the list. Now, totally, ls-a will display all files, including the hidden ones which are not shown in regular ls command. So let's just hit enter. Okay, so as you can see, we have no .git because we have not initialized any of the Git. So now let's initialize the Git now. Yeah, so you can see Git is initialized with the empty Git repository. So now let's again type ls-a and check. Here you go. When you initialize the Git repository using the git init, Git creates a hidden directory called the .git in your project's root directory. So the .git directory contains all the necessary metadata, configurations, and the history for your Git repository, including the subdirectories for objects and template files. It effectively tracks all the changes and versions in your project as well. Now let's move on to the 26th question. What command would you use to check the status of your repository? And what information does it provide? Use the command that is git status to check the status of your repository. This command provides information about changes in your working directory, state changes, and also any untracked files. It helps you to understand what files need to be committed or added to the version control. So after initializing the Git, let's see the Git status with that. So for that, we just need to type the Git status. So here you can see no branch master is done and no yet commits also. We have not committed any of the files yet. So nothing to commit as well. So this is the status of the git init now. This is how you check the status by typing just git status. Now let's see the 27th question as well. What is a conflict in Git? Conflicts arise when conflicting changes are made to the same part of a file or files by different contributors, typically during a merge or rebase operation. Git cannot automatically resolve these conflicting changes, requiring manual intervention by the user. Thus, to resolve conflicts, the conflicted file must be reviewed and edited based on the best suited files before the resolved version is committed. Now let's see the 28th question. Can you provide an example of how you designed a high availability architecture for a mission critical application? What strategies did you employ to minimize downtime? Designing for high availability involved redundancy, failed-over mechanism, and also disaster recovery planning. We used multi-region deployments, active-active configuration, and distributed database systems. Additionally, we conducted regular chaos engineering exercises to identify and rectify weaknesses in our architecture proactively. Now let's move to the 29th question. How does the blue-green deployment pattern work? The blue-green deployment pattern is a deployment strategy that aims to reduce new release risks. It involves running two separate production environments, one is blue and the green, one for the current production system and other for staging the new release. Traffic is gradually shifted from the old production environment to new release once testing is complete and software is deployed. The new release becomes live, and once the traffic has been completely transferred, the old production environment becomes idle. Now let's see the last question in the advanced level. Are there any other limitations of Microsoft hosted agents? There could be many limitations, such as no custom installation of packages or software. Sometimes you have to wait for the agent to become available, which causes delays in pipeline execution. Then it comes with predefined storage, that is memory and CPU, which is insufficient for executing a memory or CPU extensive build pipeline. Last is that you cannot harden the security of Microsoft hosted agents. With this, we have come to an end of this DevOps interview questions and answers. Remember, interviews are as much important of showcasing your technical skills as they are about demonstrating your mindset as DevOps professional. So, focus on understanding the why behind each answer, as that will help you respond authentically and adapt to different questions as well. So, if you enjoyed listening to this video, please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment on any doubts and queries. We will reply to them as soon as possible. Do look up for more videos and playlists and subscribe to Edureka's YouTube channel to learn more. Thank you and happy learning.